Hello dear students, as you all know, we are doing chapter number 10, Wave Optics, and till now we have studied so many things. So first of all, a quick revision what we have studied till now. The very first thing we studied in the recent lectures was interference of light. Interference of light. What we studied in this, whenever two light waves of same frequency having zero or constant phase difference traveling in the same direction, if they superpose each other, then the intensity of light gets redistributed, becomes maximum at some points and minimum at some other points, and this phenomena is called interference of light. We have also studied condition for constructive and destructive interference. For constructive, if you remember, then the phase difference must be 2 and pi, whereas the path difference must be n lambda, where n starts from 0, 1, 2, 3, so on. Whereas for destructive interference, the phase difference was 2n minus 1 into pi, and path difference is 2n minus 1 lambda by 2, where n starts from 1, 2, 3, so on. In the last video lecture, we have studied about position of maxima and minima. The position of nth maximum, y nth, is given by n lambda d by d, whereas position of nth minimum is given by y dash n is equal to 2n minus 1 lambda d by 2d. Till here we have studied position of nth maximum, position of nth minimum. Today we will talk about resultant intensity and intensity ratio. Then after we will talk about condition for sustained interference, and then after we will talk about the in intensity ratio. After that we will talk about intensity distribution curve, and at the last we will talk about condition for sustained interference. Okay, let us start for today. Okay, the first thing we will talk about today is intensity ratio. Intensity ratio. All we know that the resultant intensity at any point is given by I is equal to I1 plus I2 plus 2 under root I1 I2 cos phi. For maximum intensity this cos phi has to be plus 1. So I max in that case will be equal to I1 plus I2 plus 2 under root I1 I2, or we can write it under root I1 plus under root I2. Is it clear? Now this under root I1 and under root I2, just see that intensity was equal to k into a square. For first wave it was I1 is equal to k into a1 square. For second wave it was I2 is equal to ka2 square. If we take square root of both sides, we are going to have under root I is equal to under root k into capital A. In the same manner, under root I1 is equal to under root k into a1, and I2 is equal to under root k into a2. See, I1 plus I2 to under root I1 I2, this can be written as under root I1 plus under root I2 whole square. From I1 we can write under root I1 we can write under root k a1. For I2, under root I2 is under root k a2. We will put the values over here. What we are going to have? In place of under root I1, it will be under root k a1 plus under root k a2 whole square. Under root k can be taken as common, that will be k A1 plus A2 whole square. This is what? I max. For I minimum also, same concept. For I minimum also, same concept. For minimum intensity, what we are going to have? Cos phi is equal to -1. And if you put -1 over here, then I minimum will be equal to I1 plus I2 minus 2 under root I1 I2. And what we can write it? We can write it under root I1 minus under root I2 whole square. This is the value of I minimum. In place of under root I1, we'll put K1. In place of under root I2, we'll put under root K2. What we are going to have? I minimum is equal to under root K A1 under root K A2 whole square. K can be taken as common. We'll have A1 minus A2 whole square. This is the value of I minimum. Let this be question number 2. Let this be question number 1. You can pause your screen. You can note down the things, whatever till now. Due to some reasons, I will not be able to provide notes today, but in the next lecture it will be provided. This lecture also, very soon it will be updated in the link. So keep on looking for the link of notes. But till then, you have to pause the screen and you have to note down till here. Is it clear? Okay, let us move ahead. Okay, the equation number 1 was I max is equal to K A1 plus A2 whole square, I minimum is equal to K A1 minus A2 whole square. This is equation number 2. What I am going to do? I am going to divide equation number 1 by 2. So we will have I max upon I minimum is equal to K and K will be cancelled out, and we have A1 plus A2 whole square upon A1 minus A2 whole square. What we do? We take A2 common. So here we are going to have A2 square common. In bracket we will have A1 upon A2 plus 1 whole square upon A2 square is taken common. It will be A1 upon A2 minus 1 whole square. A2 square will be cancelled out, and we will have I max to I minimum is equal to A2 square will be cancelled out. We will have A1 upon A2 plus 1 whole square upon A1 upon A2 minus 1 whole square. Now this A1 upon A2 we defined as small r. A1 upon A2 is equal to R, and this R is called amplitude ratio. Amplitude ratio. So in place of A1 upon A2 we'll put R. Then we will get I max to I minimum is equal to R plus 1 whole square upon R minus 1 whole square. So this is the formula for intensity ratio. I max to the I minimum is equal to R plus 1 whole square upon R minus 1 whole square, where R is equal to what? A1 upon A2. This is the formula for amplitude ratio. And this is the formula for ratio of I max to I minimum. So more things I want to add in this, and that thing is try to understand it. If we take the value of I1 upon I2, what the value will be? In place of I1 we can write K A1 square. In place of I2 we can write K A2 square. K and K will be cancelled out. So what we are going to have? I1 upon I2 is equal to A1 upon A2 whole square. Okay. Now just see, we have a very good formula from here. I1 upon I2 will be equal to A1 square upon A2 square, which can be written as R square. Okay. One more thing I want to add in this, and that thing is equal to W1 upon W2. What is W1 and W2? Where W1 and W2 are width of slits. और reason ये है, and the reason is that intensity is directly proportional to the width of the slit, width through which the light is passing. If the width is more, intensity will be more. So I1 is proportional to W1, I2 is proportional to W2. We can write I1 upon I2 is equal to W1 upon W2. And meanwhile we are having A1 upon A2, A1 square upon A2 square, which is equal to R square. These formula will help us to solve the numericals related to amplitude ratio and intensity ratio. Okay, in the next video lecture we will solve some numericals on the basis of this formula. Today we will complete the interference theoretically. In the next video lecture we will solve some numericals based on interference, and then we will talk about diffraction. Okay, you have to note down all the things. Note it down, pause the screen, note down. Okay, now in case of YDSE, what is YDSE? Some of you might have guessed it is Young's double slit experiment. In Young's double slit experiment, if I remind you, what was that? So one source was there, then after one slit was there, then after two slits were there. This slit is S1, this slit is S2. The light travels from here till here, then a screen is there. Then what we are doing here, we are actually making two sources out of one source. Two sources out of one source. So now what happens? In the case of Young's double slit experiment, the intensity I1 is equal to intensity I2. In case of Young's double slit experiment, the intensity I1 is equal to intensity I2. And we know that the net intensity is given by I1 plus I2 plus 2 under root I1 I2 cos phi. So if I1 is equal to I2 is equal to I, then put this in this equation, then what we are going to have? We are going to have I net is equal to I plus I, and this is for only what? In YDSE. This is general formula. This is for in YDSE. I net is equal to I plus 2. I and I will be out of under root. It will become I cos phi. I and I will become 2I. 2I we can take common. 2I in bracket 1 plus cos phi. This is your I net. Now what happened? I net will be equal to 2I. I am going to apply a formula for cos phi here. In trigonometry, we all know that cos 2 theta is equal to cos square theta minus sin square theta. If we put 1 minus sin square theta, it will become 1 minus 2 sin square theta. And if we put sin square theta as 1 minus cos theta, we'll have 2 cos square theta minus 1. So this formula I am going to apply so that this 1 is cancelled out. But just see here it is 2 theta, then here the angle is theta. So if this formula is called half angle formula, so if here is angle phi, so for cos phi it will be phi by 2. What we are going to write then? 1 plus 2 cos square 5 by 2 minus 1. 1 and 1 will be cancelled out, 2 and 2 will be multiplied, I net will be equal to what? 4 cos square 5 by 2. And I is also there, I have missed that. 4I cos square 5 by 2. This is the value of net intensity in case of Young's double slit experiment. Now we'll put the conditions for maximum and minimum. For maximum, this phi need to be 0, this phi need to be 2 pi, this phi need to be 4 pi, and so on. In that case only the cos phi will be plus 1. That case only the cos phi will be plus 1. So if you put only any of these value over here, cos 0 by 2 it will become 0 only, cos 0 value is 1. Then I net and that to maximum is equal to what? 4I. Means intensity at maxima in case of Young's double slit experiment is 4 times the intensity coming from one slit. Is it clear? The intensity at maxima is equal to 4 times the intensity of the wave coming from one slit. And at minimum, for minimum, this pi needs to be pi, 3 pi, 5 pi, so on. In that case only this cos phi will become minus 1. If you put any of these values over here, if you put pi to pi by 2, it will become pi by 2. Cos pi by 2 is equal to what? 0. The square of 0 it will become 0 only. Then I net at minimum is equal to what? 0. In Young's double slit experiment, the intensity at maxima is 4I, 4 times the intensity at 1, whereas intensity at minimum is 0. Means it will become perfectly dark. And this will shine. So what happens? We can clearly distinguish where the bright and where the dark fringes are formed. On the basis of these above informations, we'll draw an intensity distribution curve. And on the basis of intensity distribution curve, we'll try to find out fringe width. Okay? First of all, you have to note down this part and then this part. Is it clear? Pause the screen and note down. Okay, the next topic is intensity distribution curve. All we know about the position of maximum in y, and let me write x because we are defining the position at x-axis. So xn is equal to n lambda d by d. So from here, the first maximum will be formed lambda d by d. Second will be 2 lambda d by d, and it will go so on. Please remember we have a central maximum x naught is equal to 0. Is it clear? Then after, for minimum what we have? For minimum, xn dash is equal to 2n minus 1 lambda d by 2d. Then if you put 1, 2, 3 and so on, so x1 dash, the first dark will be formed at lambda d by 2d. Second dark will be formed at 3 lambda d by 2d. Third will be formed at 5 lambda d by 2d, and so on. What the other information we have got from here, that I max in case of Young's double slit experiment, it is 4I, and I minimum, it is what? 0. Okay? So from these all informations, we are going to draw the distribution curve, intensity distribution curve. For that, on the y-axis we take intensity, on the x-axis we take position. So basically this denotes the center of the screen, that is O. Here some positions will be there, here some positions will be there. So for first maximum the position was lambda d by d. Let me draw here, lambda d by d. Second right will be 2 lambda d by d. Third right will be 3 lambda d by d. Is it clear? This side of the screen also lambda d by d, this time minus 2 lambda d by d minus 3 lambda d by d. For dark fringes, the first dark fringe will be formed at lambda d by 2d, middle of this. Typically here minus lambda d by 2d. Second will be 3 lambda d by 2d. Third will be 5 lambda d by 2d. So these are the positions of dark, and somewhere here minus lambda d by 2d, minus 3 lambda d by 2d, and here this position is minus 5 lambda d by 2d. Is it clear? The intensity, all maximum must have intensity. Let me do it again. Okay, so these are the positions I have made. Now all the maximum intensity is equal to what? 4i, and all the minimum intensity is 0. So minimum intensity will be here only. Maximum intensity is somewhere here. Let it be 4i. Okay, so all the maximum will have same intensity. Is it clear? All the maximum will have same intensity. The first maximum intensity is at central maximum, and here it is minimum. Then the second maximum is at lambda d by d, and here it is minimum. Okay, the third maximum, this is the minimum. Here the maximum is at this. This is your central maximum, this is your first maximum, this is your second maximum, this is your third maximum. Same way here also, the first maximum is somewhere here at minus lambda d by d. How the graph will be like? The graph will be like this. Is it clear? The second maximum is at minus 2 lambda d by d. How the graph will be? The graph will be like this. Okay. Now the next maximum will be minus 3 lambda d by d. Then how the graph will be like? The graph will be like this. So where the minimums are formed, to see at this point the minimum is there, at this point the minimum is there, at this point the minimum is there, this point, and this point. So this is what the intensity distribution curve looks like. Okay, all the intensities are same. We are not moving very far away from the screen. All the intensities are same at maximum, and all the intensities at minimum is 0. This is the case of Young's double slit experiment. In any other case, when I1 is not equal to I2, then minimum intensity will not be 0, but the shape of the curve will be like this. Is it clear? So from this curve, we are going to find out the fringe width. What is the fringe width of maximum and what is the fringe width of minimum? Okay, let us understand fringe width. First of all, of bright. How the fringe width of bright is calculated, let us see. Where the bright fringes are formed? Lambda d by d, lambda d by d, 2 lambda d by d, 3 lambda d by d. This is your first bright fringe. This is your second bright fringe. This is your third bright fringe. So what we say that second bright fringe is from where to where? When this dark fringes end from this point to this very point, this is the width of the second bright fringe. And just see, for dark fringes, this is your first dark fringe, this is your second, and this is your third. So for the second bright fringe, you have to subtract the second dark minus third dark. You have to subtract the second dark from the third dark position. For second bright, you have to subtract second dark from the third dark. What I am trying to say is, if you want to calculate the width of second bright fringe, then what we have to do? We have to subtract the third dark minus second dark position. If you want to calculate second bright fringe width, you have to subtract d2 from d3. In the same manner, for fourth bright fringe, it will be d5 minus d4. And if we continue this pattern, then for nth bright fringe, will have beta is equal to dn plus 1 position minus dn position. Just see, 2, then we add 2 plus 1, 3, minus 2, 4, 5 minus 4. So for nth, n plus 1 minus n. Now for dnth position, the formula says 2n minus 1. Position of dark fringes is given by 2n minus 1 lambda d by 2d. So we will put the value of n plus 1 here. So we will get 2 n plus 1 minus 1 lambda d by 2d minus 2n minus 1 lambda d by 2d. Lambda d by 2d is taken common. We will have 2n plus 2 minus 1 minus 2n plus 1 lambda d by 2d. Now just see, this minus 1 and plus 1 will be cancelled out. 2n and 2n will be cancelled out. We will have 2 and this 2 will cancel by this 2. So what we are going to have? We are going to have beta is equal to lambda d by d. Why I have not written n over here? Because I knew that it is not going to be dependent on n. For any bright fringe, the fringe width remains same, and it will be equal to lambda d by d only. Is it clear? You have to pause this thing, and you have to note down this thing, you have to note down from here. This thing was there to understand the pattern only. Okay? You have to note down this way and then this. Is it clear? Now let us move to the dark fringe. For dark fringes, just see, if you want to calculate the second dark fringe, width of second, then it will start from here and terminates over here. So you have to subtract the first position, this distance, from this distance, means second minus 1. You have to calculate the second dark, d2. Then what you have to do? You have to subtract, you have to solve like this, b2 minus b8. Okay, so for d5, similarly, 2 to c, this is common. So b5 minus b4, it will go like this. So if we see the pattern, then width of nth dark fringe will be given by width of nth dark, beta is equal to bright, which bright? Nth minus n minus 1th. See, the numbers are common like this only. For nth bright we have formula n lambda d by d. For n minus 1th bright we have n minus 1 lambda d by d. Now lambda d by d, if we take common, that will become n minus n plus 1. Out of the bracket lambda d by d, and n will be cancelled out, only 1 will be left. So beta is equal to what? Lambda d by d. And this was the width of dark fringe also. So whether we are calculating for bright or dark, the width is going to be lambda d by d. Means all the fringes, whether it is dark, whether it is bright, all the fringes are of same width. Is it clear? So let us stop here. We'll make the condition for sustained interference in the next lecture, and we'll do the numericals also. In the next lecture, the interference will finish with interference. If one more lecture is required, we'll do one more. But I hope that in the next lecture it will be done, and after that we'll start diffraction. Okay, this is all for today. Notes will not be provided today. You have to write from the board, and if you're not able to write, please wait for some days. Very soon the notes will be uploaded. This is all for the day.